Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about lessons for Dungeon Masters from the absolutely fantastic 2025 uh, thriller series that's on Hulu called Paradise with Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden. Really, really fantastic show. Absolutely love it. And there's some lessons here for Dungeon Masters. So what are those lessons? So first, let's not go a step further. Massive spoilers for 2025 thriller series Paradise here. If you have any intention of watching it, just cut off here. Go do something else because it is about to get seriously spoiled. All right, so this is a major spoiler series. The concept, so Sterling K. Brown plays a Secret Service agent, actually like a lead of a whole Secret Service crew, right? And then James Marsden plays a very bad, very John F. Kennedy like president. And when I say bad, I mean immoral. John F. Kennedy was a bad president from the perspective of that he was a bad president. He was not a moral man, right? He actually accomplished a ton for America, but his job was to uphold a moral standard, right? I believe that our leaders should uphold a moral standard. And John F. Kennedy cheated on his wife, and it was widely known, right? And he was really, really crappy to Jackie O, right? And that's not cool. That's not cool, right? So this James Marsden is the same thing. He's just a terrible, immoral man, right? Drinks a lot, smokes a lot, uh, makes just bad moral, ethical choices, right? And so Sterling K. Brown is given the job of defending him as his Secret Service agent. Well, this whole thing goes forward, and we get to wake up with Sterling K. Brown's character, the Secret Service agent, and see him, getting up and having his morning run and having breakfast with his kids. And then he goes to work, he protects the president, and the president at this point is retired, right? So very, very interesting, right? And the whole story is just progressing, and you're like, oh, I'm watching a story about, the president, a retired president, and a Secret Service agent. But at the end, this major spoiler comes in, and the major spoiler is that everything we've seen is underground. This is all happening in a super secret, safe bunker, right? A city that was built underground because an extinction level event has come forward, right? That's fascinating. That is really, really compelling, and it's a huge twist, right? Now, what's this got to do with Dungeons and Dragons? Well, as Dungeon Masters, one of the things I think we need to realize is that we can't just tell any story we want out of the gate. I think we need to really start to talk about how Dungeon Masters craft tables from a perspective of what stories they're able to control by where they are in their maturity level, right? As Dungeon Masters. So first of all, if you've never run a Dungeons Dragons story before, you're probably gonna, you might feel best running an adventure from one of the starter sets, right? Just get an idea what it is, understand how the dice work. Your friends are going to try it, and almost certainly, you'll start with 3 or 4 friends, and 1 or 2 of them are like, this isn't for me, I don't really like this, so the point is, when you start, you need to be telling very bog standard fantasy stories so that you're just learning the Dungeons and Dragons rules, right? Managing a story that has a major twist in it, the way Paradise has, you have to be multiple levels up. You need to know Dungeons and Dragons pat, right? You need to know the rules. You also need to be comfortable with fantasy overall, because I don't really feel you could start to run Dungeons and Dragons non-fantasy content until you understand Dungeons and Dragons, right? So then, once you understand Dungeons and Dragons, the rules and the fantasy structures, right? The next thing you need to do is you need to get a comfortable crew, right? Like players who trust you, and you trust them, right? At that point, and you can run like a space, at this point, you're past your beginner phase, right? Now you're at your intermediate phase, and you could run, like an alien story, or you could run like a D&D modern political intrigue story, or you might even run like a heist story that takes place in the real world, right? Like Leverage, right? But then once you are no longer a beginner, or no longer an intermediate, and you have a table that trusts you and you trust those players, then and only then can you move forward and do something like this, where you now include and connected an absolutely massive twist, right? Because like I did, so this is a huge twist, right? And I was delighted by it because I trusted the people involved, right? Sterling K. Brown, phenomenal talent. I love everything he's in. James Marsden, I like him, right? But the fact that they had Sterling K. Brown as a foundation player within this story, I was like, I trust you. I know where you're going. I'm willing to go along with this twist. And I was delighted by the twist rather than upset by it, right? And I think with Dungeons & Dragons, you can only run a twist story when you are in your advanced stages of dungeon mastering, and you have a crew that trusts you. Every single word I just said in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider like subscribing and have a fetch millennium.